My channel has been growing like crazy, and last month in April, I hit a huge milestone on the channel. I got 10,000 views in 1 month on YouTube. Actually, 11,064 to be exact. And so today I want to talk to you guys about how I did that, the timeline for like how long it took, what it actually takes to get to 10,000 views, and how you guys can raise your views on YouTube as well. Now, the first thing that I want to talk about is the fact that this wasn't an overnight success, because you can kind of just hop on this video for the very first video that you've ever watched from me, or watch a few of them and think that I did this super quickly, because online it looks like things took a lot less time than they actually did in person. And so I started this channel in July of 2020, and I got monetized in December of 2022. And then in April of 2023 is when I finally hit 10,000 views. And so there was a lot of time in there where I was not hitting 10,000 views a month. And to give you a little bit of perspective, in December when I got monetized, I think I only had about 6,000 views. So once my channel grew, it grew relatively quickly in terms of views. But it wasn't post one day and 10,000 views the next day. And my growth was slow because I didn't really have any viral videos. I had videos that ranked well and did well in search, but none of them that got 100,000 views and just absolutely blew up the channel like you see a lot of YouTubers have that happen. And this isn't something that happened on accident either. My channel did not grow on accident. This was strategic. I put in a lot of work. I took classes. I did a lot of stuff to be able to grow my channel. And I'm no expert in anything either. My channel as a whole only has about 3,000 subscribers. So in the grand scheme of things, I am a really small YouTube channel. But that doesn't mean that I don't know what I'm talking about, and the numbers are here to prove it. So why do I tell you all of this? Because I'm not here to wow you with some massive numbers and some massive amounts of income and to tell you that you can do this if you follow my tips within the next couple months. Depending on where you are, you might be able to, but if you are just starting out from zero, you're gonna have to work a little bit. But I'm telling you this to encourage you, because if my small channel with 3,000 subscribers can get 10,000 views, you can do the exact same thing, where you can hopefully also learn something from me as well. So that's kind of where the stats are on my channel. So just so you know the full picture of how everything kind of goes here. So if you're struggling to grow on YouTube, here are a few things that I started to do that really started to grow my channel. And I kind of tried to put these in order from like most important, or like the things that you should work on first. So you can kind of use this a little bit like a checklist. However, this is not a one and done checklist. You should always be going through and trying to improve these different things as you get better with these skills. But by far, the most important thing that you want to do is understand your audience's wants and needs. Because you can have the best gear, the best lighting, the best on-camera presence, the best editor. You can have it all. But if the topic that you are talking about in the video doesn't interest anybody, you're gonna have a really hard time getting views on that video. Now, I'm a firm believer that if you have a passion in your heart and you have a topic that you are really passionate about and interested in, you are going to have an audience that will find you. However, you also want to still talk about things that you know people are interested in. It's a little bit of a balance. Now, this doesn't mean that you are limited to what you think is popular though, because there are so many different channels here on YouTube. There is a channel of a girl who just does puzzles for her videos. She tries to put together these crazy puzzles. There are people that talk about plants and gardening, and there are people that talk about and create slime. Their whole video, their whole channel is just on creating and playing and cutting and doing all these things with slime. So you don't necessarily have to be limited to the how to, here's how you do this thing. Like, you're not limited in the types of niches that you want to get into. There are so many endless options out there of what you can create. But it may be too hard to start on a niche that's like too super out there or not very popular. Once you gain some traction, you can pretty much talk about whatever the heck you want. Once you have like a core audience that is there for you and every video that you create, you can branch out. So it really is a balance of trying to figure out, like, what am I interested in and what are other people interested in? How can I put out videos that serve both people? Now, I personally started talking out about blogging and Pinterest. If you've been around for a while, you've probably subscribed from one of those videos. And recently I switched my niche, or at least broadened my niche, to talk about life in their 20s, women and manifestation and mindset and different things like that, as opposed to just being a content creation channel on content creation. I talk about all different topics that I'm passionate about. But because I built up that core audience first, the people that were interested in the new stuff that I switched to and the people that were here for me are now watching my newer content as well. So it was good to like get some traction and then kind of broaden my niche a little bit. Now, I'm not saying you have to do that. That's just personally what I did. I switched because I wanted to do something that made me happier. And you might find that your niche evolves as you grow and as you change on YouTube as well. And that's totally okay. But how do you find out what your audience is even interested to begin with? The first thing you want to understand is YouTube search and SEO, because YouTube at its core is a search engine. People go to YouTube to search up things, to learn things, to figure out how to repair a hole in their wall or how to fix their money mindset. Now, people also go for other reasons, for entertainment, for relaxation, for funny videos. But if you want to grow your channel, one of the things that you really want to work on is YouTube search and SEO and getting your videos ranked under certain search terms. If you are in the business of teaching people, or if you at least have some videos on your channel that are how to, and you can start teaching people, or not even how to, just people can learn things from your videos, that is going to be the fastest way for you to grow. Because what you want to do is, let's say you do a how to drill a hole in a wall video. If you get that video to rank under those key terms as close to number one as possible, anybody that searches up that term is going to have an opportunity to click on your video if it is interesting enough for them to want to click on. And that's how you're going to get a lot of your subscribers. That's where my main traffic driver comes from, is YouTube search. And most of my views have come from YouTube search because I researched those topics, understood what was going to do well, and then created videos on those topics. And like I said, I'm not saying that you have to be in the how-to niche, or you have to only do those videos, or you have to be in one niche and then switch to another once you get a little bit of traction. That's personally just what works for me. But what I am saying is you need to find a topic that a lot of people are interested in, that you are interested in as well, and then research what people want to know in that niche and try to rank on YouTube search to start bringing people into your channel, because that's going to be one of the easiest ways for people to find you and start watching your videos and subscribe. Now, one of the best ways to do this is with a tool called vidIQ. You can get a free version, but the paid version is so much better. It is the one that I personally use, and I use it for every single video that I put out on this channel. It is absolutely amazing. All of the videos that vidIQ said that would do well have done just that, and they have done super well for my channel. It is a fantastic tool. I will leave a link down below to it in the description if you want to check it out. I would honestly be super lost if it wasn't for vidIQ. My channel would not have grown as fast, and I owe a lot of my success to them. So I'll leave a link below if you want to check that out. But before we get into the how to rank on YouTube search, let's get into a little bit more of the why you should rank in YouTube search. And I can tell you why with just one screenshot. This is my views and traffic sources from April, when I got 10,000 views in 1 month. And you can see that YouTube search was the top traffic driver, bringing in 4,246 of my 11,063 views. That's more than YouTube Shorts, which is huge on YouTube, by the way, which brought me in 2,348 views in that month. Do you really need any more reason than that? But if you are struggling to rank and search, here's a few things that you can try. The first thing that you want to do is find out what people are searching, of course, and the best way to do that, as I mentioned, is with vidIQ Pro, because when you pay for it, you have access to their web browser where you can type in any type of video idea that you have in their SEO keyword research tool, and it will let you know how many people are searching for that search term or a keyword phrase, and it will also give you a score for how good it is, for how easy it is to rank for, and other keyword options and questions that you can look up in case you want to reword it just ever so slightly to rank for that keyword instead if you find something that's better. So I recommend typing in a keyword phrase or a keyword that you want to search for, and then do a little bit of research on there and figure out which one is the best way to word this so that you can rank for that term. And this research should influence your title, because you want to have a really good title with strong keywords in it in order to try and rank. And then you can find other keywords as well in there that you want to put as your tags and in your description. Another good thing about vidIQ Pro is when you are going to upload the video, you can type in 1 or 2 keywords in your tags, or you can use the suggestions that they have, and then you can click the plus sign and it's going to open up that exact same thing with other keywords that you can use. So you can just press the plus button really quick, and it makes doing the boring part of keyword research with doing the tags so much faster. That's one of my favorite parts about having vidIQ. Then the next thing that you want to do is look at your competitors. And I don't really like saying the word competitors, because there's plenty of room for all of us on this platform. There is a person out there for everybody, so I don't really like saying competitors, but that is what they are called in vidIQ. If you get the pro version, you can put in competitors in there, so it's channels that are similar to yours, and you can see what videos are they posting, how are they doing with their channels, And you can also get ideas from them as well so that you can see like what videos are doing well, what videos are not doing as well, what are they talking about, what's trending in my niche. And what I like to do is I want to find a little bit of like higher up creators with subs that are significantly more than me, 100,000, 200,000, up to 500,000. What are these people doing? Because they're obviously doing something right. So how can I learn from these people in order to make videos better just like them and get the views that they are getting? Because those are the views that, of course, I want to be able to get. And so you can learn from those people. And then I also like to have a few people who are around my subscriber count. So just ahead of me or right around the same subscriber count. So right now, 3,000 for me. I might look at someone that has like 5,000 views or 5,000 subscribers, 6,000 subscribers, something like that. And I go, what are they doing? How have they gotten more subscribers than me? Is it just because they've been doing this longer? Are their videos better? Or someone just in your type of ballpark so that you aren't looking at someone who is light years ahead of you and has been doing this for 10 or 13 years. Now, you always want to be your own person online. You don't want to look at these people and say, oh, just because they created a video on this topic, that means I have to create a video on that topic. It doesn't work that way. You absolutely do not have to. You mostly just want to get ideas and inspiration and see what it is that they're doing and decide, do I want to incorporate that into my own channel? And if the answer is no, that's fine. If the answer is yes, make sure you do it in your own way and you're not just directly copying other creators, because we want to have our own creativity and not rip off other people on the platform. Of course, you always want to do things with good intentions. However, hopefully you can get some inspiration from doing that and grow a little bit faster. Now, the next thing that you're going to want to do is improving your titles. One of the most common things that I see from people who don't understand why their videos or blog posts or anything like that is not getting views is because their titles are not that interesting or very good. Now, this can also happen because you chose the wrong topic to begin with, which is why I said that first, because it really doesn't matter how good your title is. If people are not interested in the topic that you're talking about, your title can be perfect and it won't matter. So that's why I say that first. But you can spice up even the most boring video topic with a good title. The question you want to ask yourself is, why should someone want to click on your video? You typically don't want to just make a statement when it comes to your blog posts or your YouTube videos. I see this happen a lot with people on Pinterest. I've seen someone who was like an animal farmer and they put the alpaca has good fur or something along the lines of like a weird title, which is just clearly a statement. And the viewer is going to look at that and go, great, what does that mean for me? What am I going to get out of your video? You could say something like, the Canon M50 is a great camera. Okay, great. Thanks for letting me know. I'm going to keep scrolling now because that means absolutely nothing to me. You always want to think of the viewer and their experience, and you want to tell them what they are going to get out of that video, because people's time is valuable. They can be doing whatever the heck they want with their time. And you are not only competing with other YouTubers. You obviously have seen how YouTube works. It's not just your video on the screen. There is 16 other videos at the end, on the side, on the homepage. There's a ton of other videos being recommended to them at once. You're not only competing with other YouTubers, you're competing with the thousands of other things people could be doing with their time. They could be reading a book, they could be watching Netflix, they could be watching Disney Plus, they can go on a walk with their friends, they can go out with their family, they can do whatever the heck they want. Why should they watch your video? What are they going to get out of it when they click on that video? So you want to make sure you are creating the best video possible with the best title possible in order to catch their attention and make them want to stay. Now, this isn't me saying that you have to have a super clickbaity title that has nothing to do with the topic, or you need to make even the most simple video idea have explosions in the thumbnails and a crazy background to get people to make sure they want to click if your video title is something as simple as how to plant and grow carrots. But you can make it more interesting. If you first of all know that your audience's pain points is trying to plant carrots, you're going to pick that video topic to begin with. You only have so much time to create so many videos, so you want to make sure that you are creating the best ones possible. And if you know that's your pain point, you're going to create a video on that. But you don't want to have a title like how to plant and grow carrots in your backyard. Great, but could be better. Instead, you could do a title like the simplest way to grow carrots in any season. That may be a little bit better. Or never let your carrots die again with this quick gardening fix. Do carrots even die? I'm not really sure, but for the sake of the video, they die and you want to help your viewers make sure they don't. Either way, those two video ideas are going to be a lot better than just how to plant and grow carrots. A few other tips for titles is start with the good stuff first. Putting the main focus or the subject of the video as close to the front of the title as you possibly can is going to not only get viewers' attentions quicker, but if you put it towards the end, People might like stop reading before the end of it, or if you think about, again, the viewer experience, if they're watching on their phone, that might get cut off before you even get to the good stuff because YouTube is shown on so many different devices. The title is not shown all the way through. If you put the main point of the video behind a massive word salad, people are not even going to be able to read what the heck the video is about because YouTube is not showing them. For example, how to get your cat to stop scratching your furniture. Cat to stop scratching your furniture, that's the main point. It's at the end. Versus you could do something like pet owners, stop kitty from scratching your furniture with these simple hacks. You'll see a lot of people, including me, using the main subject, colon, and then the rest of the title because that puts the main focus at the front and is going to capture people's attention quicker. You can also use capital letters to emphasize things. You're going to see me do this a lot in my videos. A lot of other YouTubers do this. You might see what's ever first be in cap or other random stuff capitalized throughout the title. That is going to be the most important stuff to help it capture attention just a little bit more. Once you've got your titles down, it's time to work on your thumbnails. Ideally, you would work on these things together since they're kind of going hand in hand. People are probably going to notice your thumbnail first, and then they're going to skip to read the title. Depending on how people read, they might see one or the other first. So these are kind of things that you want to work on together, but you want to make sure that your thumbnail is noticeable and clickable. One of the big mistakes that I see people make is they make their thumbnails so similar that you cannot really tell from one video to the next if they're even different videos. And I know people do this because I used to do this. This is what my thumbnails used to look like. And I think this is a really good screenshot because you can see I had a pink background. All the words were similar. The text was similar. I was placed similar. Sure, my facial expressions and my clothes are different, but that's not enough of a differentiation for people to realize these are totally separate videos. And I think this is a good collection of them because you can see in the bottom, I did a different thumbnail because I went back and updated some old ones, and you can see the difference in the clickability in between the new thumbnail versus the old ones that I used to have. And now my thumbnails all look like this. I am in a different place on every single one of the thumbnails. The text is similar, but it's still different. There's more things going on in these thumbnails that make them more clickable and similar, but also different. And here's a few tips on how you can make your thumbnails a little bit more clickable. The first thing you want to try and do is change out the background. Now, this doesn't necessarily mean that you need to do your office background like I do. There's so many different types of thumbnails that you can do. You might just want to do like a color, or maybe you are traveling, so you're going to have different travel photos posted on your thumbnails. There's a million different ways to make thumbnails, but you want to try and change out your background so it's not the exact same every single time. One of the things that I did was I took photos of my office and placed my camera in different places around my office to take pictures without me in it, because that way I can use different backgrounds in my thumbnails. So I did a video on this. Actually, I'll link it up here and down below in the description if you want to see a full tutorial of me doing thumbnails. But essentially you take a picture of your office, your background, whatever, without you in it. And then you can take a picture of yourself from anywhere using Canva. If you have Canva Pro, you can take out the background of you're like smiling like this or doing whatever, and you can put yourself on a totally brand new background. And you can feel free to use whatever you want with this method. You can use photos of your office, you can use a different colored background, whatever it is that you want for your thumbnail. As long as you cut the background out of yourself, then you can use whatever background you want. And one thing that I have done recently, which I think is really smart but really sneaky, is using a stock photo as my background. So again, if you have Canva, especially if you have Canva Pro, you can just type in office background and find an office background that you like and put that as your background. I'll put an example of what I'm talking about here so you can see this is the actual thumbnail that I did. And this is what it looks like when the background is not blurred. This is not actually my office here. This is just a random photo that I have taken from Canva and put myself in it as the background. And then I blurred it a little bit so that you wouldn't be able to see that I wasn't actually there, because I just got bored of using photos of my office. I mean, I'm trying to really spice up my thumbnails and do different stuff with them. So you can use stuff like this and just create a different thumbnail by using a different office. This especially works if you are recording in your kitchen or something on your dining room table and you don't have a nice background. You can just use somebody else's. I think this is amazing and it worked out really well if you ask me. You also want to change up the photos of yourself. And you might feel a little silly doing this when you start because you think you might have to do the crazy, like over-exaggerated YouTube face, and in some videos, you might. But if that's not what you're comfortable with, you don't actually have to do that. I just tend to smile in my thumbnails a lot and just, but occasionally you do need like a, you want to have some sort of expression on your face and maybe just not be staring at the camera like this stone cold face or like you're angry. You want to try and get some emotion in your thumbnails. However, you don't want to go too crazy on every single video. You want the thumbnail to match the emotion that's going on in the video. If you are talking about divorce, you probably don't want to be like in your thumbnail. You might want to have a more somber or like, you know, you might want to have a little bit more of a relaxed face in your thumbnail. And if you're talking about like, let's say how to plant carrots again, you don't necessarily need to be like, because that's cringy, like chill. Like you don't need to be insane, especially if you don't feel comfortable doing it. You want the thumbnail photo to match the emotion on the video. And you also don't always need to be on the thumbnail. If you feel uncomfortable taking pictures of yourself, even if you feel comfortable being on camera, but you don't feel comfortable taking pictures of yourself, you don't always need to be in the thumbnail. But if you aren't a picture person, but you do want to take pictures of yourself, you can always get ready once, do your makeup, your hair, whatever, guys, put on your suit, whatever you feel like, whatever matches what you're doing, get ready once, take a bunch of pictures of yourself, change clothes if you need to, and then batch photos. I reuse photos of myself all the time. I have a folder in my Canva account that just has a bunch of thumbnail photos that I can use in there in case I forget to take one, or I didn't like the one that I took, or I just have an idea that I want to execute in my head and I know I have a picture that matches it. You can reuse your thumbnail photos. You want to make them still look different, because, you know, the background wants to be different, the words need to be different so that they're not exactly the same. I'm sure I have thumbnails. I might put some up here if I can find some. These are the exact same picture. They look totally different. They're posted a little bit further apart and it looks fine. It doesn't matter. No one's really going to notice. But you want to make sure that you are intentional with the thumbnail photos that you are taking. And this is one of the big things that I see with people who are not getting a lot of views is their thumbnails are just not that great because there's way too much information on there. They're not very clean. No one can tell what the heck is even going on. And the text is either way too much or way too little or both. People are just going to keep scrolling. They are not going to read it. You do not need to put your entire title on your thumbnail. They work together, but they are not the same thing. And one trick is if you are using Canva, to go down to the bottom where the little like slide tool is to zoom in and zoom out and zoom it down to about 10 to 15%. And that's what people are seeing on your thumbnail. That's about how big it is on YouTube. And if you zoom it down to that size and you realize this is not readable, this does not give off the vibe that I wanted, the energy that I wanted, you might want to make your text bigger, change it up a little bit, and keep doing that until you're satisfied with how your thumbnail looks and it's still readable. And like I said, if you want to see me create a thumbnail in real time, I will leave the link to that video down below in the description or up here. So now you've gotten your viewer to click. What the heck do you do after that? You have to hook them in with a strong intro. One of the comments that I see a lot about my videos is how people love my intros because I do not take 5 to 10 minutes to get into my video. I don't give a bunch of fluff or a call to action to subscribe before I've even given them a second of value. I don't have a 30-second bumper that pops up with my channel logo and some music. I don't even take 30 seconds to get into the video. I usually do a 1 to 2 line intro to tee up the video and then I just get into the freaking content, into point number 1. And the reason that I do this is because you don't necessarily need to sell people on the video topic once they've already clicked on the video. They've already seen your thumbnail, they've already read the title, they've already clicked on the video, they know what they are there for. You don't necessarily need to tell them in any long-winded way, just get right into the content because that is gonna sell the video way more than you retelling them something that they already know. Now that's not to say that you don't have to say, hey, here's what we're gonna do today, because that kind of confirms like, okay, this is exactly what I need. That's why I usually take a 1 to 2 liner to tell them like, here's exactly what you're gonna get. And then they're like, great confirmation, I'm here for this video because this is exactly what I need to know. And then you get to the point. And like I said, I try to get into the video within the first 30 seconds because YouTube marks this as super, super important. If you go into the back end of YouTube Studio in the analytics, you'll see that they've called this out a few different times. When you look at the graph, the retention graph for every single one of your videos, you'll see the 30-second mark is highlighted, and they will also tell you the percentage of viewers that are still watching after the first 30 seconds. And that is because people are likely to leave. The biggest drop off is going to be within the first 30 seconds of the video. So if you get into the topic within the first 30 seconds of the video, you will have people less likely to leave. Some people are still gonna leave. They're gonna immediately say, I don't like that vibe. I don't like this person. Her audio was weird, whatever. Some people are still gonna leave. You're not gonna please everybody. That is totally fine. But the quicker you get into the video content, the more value you deliver quickly, the better you are gonna have as your retention graph in YouTube. And that's why I don't say subscribe within the first 30 seconds. I really don't say that in my videos at all. Occasionally I might say, hey, if you like this video, hit like, subscribe, something like that if it flows nicely in the video, but I typically don't even tell people until the end. Because if you are listening to the first 10 seconds of a YouTube video, this is the first video you've ever clicked on, and I'm like, hey, welcome back to my channel, subscribe for more content, and I'm like, I don't even know what content you're giving me because you haven't told me yet. So it's a little bit selfish to like expect people or ask people to subscribe when you haven't given them anything yet, which is why I prefer to have a visual subscribe button pop up at the bottom. And I know that my average view duration in my videos is between 2 and 6 minutes. So I try to give some value first and put that pop up within the first 2 to 6 minutes of the video, because I know that that is when people tend to watch the video the most, and then they start to drop off a little bit more after that. And if people are staying 5-6 minutes into the video, maybe they enjoy that content and they want to subscribe, but I don't want to verbally tell them. I just give them a little marker at the bottom of the screen. And if they subscribe, great. If they don't, also great. Now, this doesn't mean that you shouldn't ever ask people to subscribe or like the video. That's not what I'm saying. It just, this is what works for me. If you want to tell people like, hey, by the way, if you're enjoying this, hit subscribe. Anyway, back to the video. Like, anyway, point number 2 is you can do that. Whatever works best for you. Try it out. Do it in some videos. Don't do it in some videos. See if it ups your subscribers. Do a visual thing. Just call it out at the end. Whatever works for you. Test some things out and see. The next thing that you want to do is improve your video quality. And this is so far down on the list because it's less important than all of the other things. People will stay for a visually bad or sometimes auditorily bad video if the content that they are getting is super important. If your video is a little bit blurry or a little bit too quiet, then people are still likely to stay more often than if the content is just bad. If the content sucks or it's not what they want, they're gonna leave way more quickly than if you are out of focus or something like that. But the thing to know here is people are more tolerable about a bad video quality than they are a bad audio quality. So one of the first things that you want to do is upgrade your audio quality, because people are listening more than they're watching, and they can tolerate a bad video quality more than a bad audio quality. So at some point you do want to level up your gear, but if all you have to start right now is a ring light and your phone or a window light and your phone, that is perfect. I personally am using the Canon M50 and I am using a Rode video microphone. If you want to check out the stuff that I'm using, I'll leave a link to that stuff down below. This was a pretty big investment for me when I first bought it, but I knew that I was serious about this channel. I knew I wanted to grow it and I wanted to invest, and man, was it a great investment, because this camera is fantastic. But while you are improving your video and audio quality, you also want to improve your on-camera presence as well, because I understand that it is super scary to get on camera for the first time. If you watched back my first video on this channel, it's horrible. It's horrible. Horrifying and horrible. New word, horrible. That's how bad it is. I had to create a new word to describe it. It's a horrible video. I look terrified because I was, but you get better over time. I used to read strictly from a script, and I wouldn't ever dream of going off script. Now I have points that I want to say, but I kind of just speak a little bit off the cuff. And that just comes from experience and trusting yourself and just doing this over and over and over and over and over again until you get better at it. You want to just get better your on-camera presence and also be confident in yourself and your abilities and just be yourself, because other people won't care and they might actually resonate with that. And don't forget that the more you practice, the better you will get. Now, once you do all of this work inside YouTube, does that mean that you are done? No, it does not. Next, you have to actually promote your work. Now, YouTube does a great job at promoting your videos, but at first, they're probably not going to promote them very much, or you're not going to get at least very many views. So you want to promote your stuff outside of YouTube as well. Share them on your Instagram stories. Make a reel out of it. Turn it into a blog post. Put a podcast about it on Spotify. Tweet about it. Make an email list. Post it on your YouTube community tab. Share it in Facebook community groups. Whatever it is that you have to do. Post your videos and share them. Be proud of the work that you've done and just put it out there. It's gonna be okay. You're gonna bring in a lot more viewers, and it's scary to promote yourself at first, but once you start to do it, like I said, the more you do it, the better you'll get, the more confident you will get. So you have to make sure that you promote your work, and that is gonna help you bring in more subscribers, which is gonna help you get more YouTube views overall, which is the whole point. And then once you do all of that, the very last step is to be patient. And this one is the most difficult out of all of them, because all of us want to be successful. All of us want the YouTube views, and maybe you don't want the fame and the fortune and the success, but you still probably want your stuff to do well. I know that I do. So the hardest part is just to be patient. My channel grew really slowly, or at least grew steadily and consistently, and it wasn't one big, like, massive blow up and all of a sudden I have 100,000 views. That didn't happen. But I'm super grateful for that, because I can now teach other people how to have slow growth and how to be patient. And that's something that I just think I was meant to do. But the truth is, you may end up growing faster than me, and I hope you do. I hope that you can take these tips and learn from my mistakes and grow way faster than I did. Or you may have to wait years longer than I did. It really depends. Like, you honestly have no idea unless you start. But I hope that this video was encouraging for you. And just know that if you are passionate about something, you are gonna more than likely, hopefully see growth. Do your best to stay true to yourself, remind yourself of why you started, and don't look to anyone else's timeline to compare yourself. You are right on time for the growth that you are supposed to see. Even if that growth happens slower than others or quicker than others, you are right on time. I hope this was helpful. I hope you enjoyed, and if you did, make sure to hit that like button and subscribe to my channel down below. And if you want to see more YouTube tips from me, check out this video right here. Bye.